Hello, everybody, and welcome to this month's Anime Paint Night. My name is Mr. Kelvin, and welcome back. Okay, so this month we have Tanjiro Kamado himself from Demon Slayer. So in your little kit, you should have the line art, the reference sheet featuring some good color references there. Make sure you have, also watercolor kit if you asked for it. Make sure you have some water, paper towels, and let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty, so the first thing that we're going to do, as per usual, we're going to go ahead and start with our skin tone. So we're just going to go ahead and go for the brown and the eggshell, as per usual. Trying to lighten up on the brown just to make sure we can have it a little bit more accurate towards the skin tone there. Being generous with the eggshell, and trying to keep it nice and even and blended all the way through. So while you go ahead and do that, let's talk a little bit about Tanjiro himself. So I'll be perfectly honest with you. I love being transparent with you all. I have never seen Demon Slayer. I know, crazy, it's okay. It's alright. Everything will be fine. But I have had a lot of friends in my life that have really enjoyed Demon Slayer. So one of the things that kind of prompted me to actually do him as a character was because of the recent movie that came out just a few months ago, back in fall of 2025. I think it's called The Infinity Tower. From what I've seen of Tanjiro, just in the little bit of me doing research of him, I like how, the way I can describe him at least, it reminds me of a very good shonen protagonist vibes where it's just he's gung-ho, he's ready for adventure. He looks like he's not only that, but he seems more gentle. He seems more like a Midoriya type of shonen protagonist, more than a Goku. He seems like I don't necessarily want to actually swing my blade or unsheath my sword unless I have to. He feels of that nature. From what I gather, is that his early upbringing, especially with his sister, was very, very rough. They survived a hard ordeal, if I'm correct. But he was able to come out of that, not unscathed. As you can see, he has a pretty hefty scar on his forehead and such. So perhaps one day, maybe I'll take a look at Demon Slayer. I've heard a lot of positive things about it, but I just wanted to do this one because of the recent movie that came out, and a lot of the good recommendations to take a look at it. So this is my first kind of taste into that realm. But let's talk a little bit about his color scheme a little bit down the road as we continue on in our painting. Alrighty, I'll see you in the next section. Alrighty, so for the next portion that we're going to be working on is we're going to go for the black, and we're going to work on his uniform that is underneath his, I believe, I don't even remember what they're called. It's not a hakama, but his very colorful checkered jacket and such. I don't know the traditional name for it, unfortunately. But talking about Tanjiro's color scheme that they've chosen for him, I really don't often see that shade of green much for a protagonist. I think of Gon from Hunter x Hunter. It's a very solid, standard green, very earthy, very leaf green and such. But this one's almost as if it's aqua, cyan, but definitely more on the green side of those. And I'm just whoa. And then in addition, his hair color, which we will obviously get to later on, is you'll see it when we get there, but it was very tricky to do it because it's not really pink, but it's not really burgundy or maroon either. It's almost like it's a faded pink mixed with a little bit of red. So that's very unique decision. I also like how in Demon Slayer the eyes, they don't necessarily have black pupils. They have white pupils, and everything else is colored with a nice little gradient on the side. It's very nice. Character design wise, it's beautiful. If you look at the anime often, it's very heavy in the black bolded lines for all the character art. And then when they use like elemental attacks, it's almost as if it becomes like a blending of like painterly. It's like basically it looks like the elements are from like a completely different art style, something that's a little bit more fluid and like painterly, and then they blend it in very nicely. Nice. Let's move on to our next portion. Alrighty, next we are going to work on our jacket here, and we're going to work on the black checkered portions of it first. So, if you've ever seen a checkerboard, and also, just you look at the reference sheet, but if you've ever seen a checkerboard, of course, basically what we're going to do is as we find whatever square that we'd like to start on first, or rectangle, what have you, the bottom and the upper portions of where you did your original square, on the corners of that original square are where you'll have your next black squares. It's a pretty good guideline that you can have for yourself. So, for example, when you saw me color in the first square, at the bottom corners, bottom left-hand corner and the bottom right-hand corner of that original square, that is where we started coloring the other ones as well. So just continue on. You don't have to be like identical to mine. You don't have to have it perfect. You don't even have to do like the checkerboard design. It can be one solid color. But if you do the checkerboard design, just take your time with it. Just take your time with it. It's actually a really fun, therapeutic portion of the actual paint session. I really enjoy doing the checkerboard. I don't think I've ever had an opportunity to not only draw something like this, but also paint something like this, which was very cool. I really enjoy it. I wonder what made, I wonder what they were thinking. What was the decision behind the jackets? Because, I've gone to a lot of different anime conventions, post Demon Slayer's, conception and, bringing it out to the United States and everything. And I can definitely say it's, those jackets are super popular when you go to conventions. And I can see why. They stand out so clearly, and they do a good job at making it very apparent, which character has the different jackets and such. And they go crazy with the designs. Crazy. When I decided to do Demon Slayer for this month, there was a lot of characters that I could choose, but I definitely wanted to at least start with Tanjiro because, if we do Demon Slayer again, we have an opportunity to choose someone else. But Tanjiro's design itself is strong, solid on its own. So I just wanted to make sure I started with that. And then pretty much it on the checkerboard side on this side. We're going to go on and on the left side of the sleeve here. One of the things that I really enjoy about Demon Slayer itself is the way that they navigate the use of elements and such. We talked a little bit about the visual design of how it pops up, but it does feel very cool to have a group of people who are dedicated to one element, but you don't have to be restricted to just learning that element if you've got enough talent. So Tanjiro being able to do water breathing and fire breathing and such. So also, I'm a big fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender, so that type of stuff is really cool to me. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next section after this. All right, and then of course we've got to do our color portion. So when we do this color portion here, you're gonna see that I do the first green, which is right underneath the orange, and I do a little bit of the sky blue. But I want you to know that every other square that I do, every square that I do after this one is going to use the opposite green, the one that's beneath the original one, because I think it does a better job at conveying the actual color that's on the reference sheet. So this one was just a little bit of an experiment. So again, you don't have to follow my lead. You don't even have to follow the reference sheet. You can make whatever color you like for the actual jacket. But I'm going to let you do this part, and I will see you after you've got that jacket all colored up. Alright, so now that the jacket is complete, we'll go ahead and work on a little bit of some of the details, specifically his earrings. So first we're going to get a little bit of that sky blue and do little mountains that are on his earrings and such. I really like the earring designs. It's like a sun beaming down on a field. Or at least it looks like that. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It definitely calls back to the original flag of Japan, like the Rising Sun one, where it's like red, yellow, with the sun rays. Beautiful stuff. Very beautiful stuff. So now what we'll do after that is we'll do the sword hilt. The sword hilt itself is, like, again, you can have your own creative spin on it. I know that his sword changes throughout the anime, but just standard issue black here, and then the rhombus that we have, we're probably going to paint that red and such. After we do that, of course, we'll go ahead and move on to our next portion of it. But I will leave you to it. Alrighty, the next part that we are going to work on is our eyeballs. So, Tanjiro's eyes are beautiful. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, the gradient style that Demon Slayer does with their eyes, beautiful stuff. So, the bottom part is usually like a lighter, so we're just going for the pink and such. I think that was a accurate color to describe it. And then the upper part, I think I use a little bit of the purple and the pink here. And I think maybe just a little bit of the black as well, just to darken it up a bit. But after just a repeat of that without trying to oversaturate the paper, we started to get a little bit more of an accurate depiction of the eyeballs that we're looking for and such. Matter of fact, the nice thing is we can kind of take that same route and we can apply it to the scar on top of his head later on, but for now, let's just continue doing this. Oh, did I add red in there too? That makes sense. Yeah, I added red a little bit. So, go ahead and darken it up just a little bit there, blend it forward. The blessing and curse of these watercolor kits is the fact that it has like a fair amount of colors that you can utilize to get to your destination, but like sometimes it does take a little bit of trial and error. But I think that's the kind of fun about it, you know, to try to make it as accurate as possible with the supplies you have. And so again, you don't have to do this route, but for the scar, I also did like pink and purple and a little bit of red and such. Yeah, basically to, you know, like it doesn't have to be as accurate. You don't have to be perfectly accurate, of course, but like I definitely know that I think I made my scar a little bit more black and blue, definitely a little bit more purple there and such, but I'm still okay with it. Still really, really like it and such. After this, I'm trying to figure out what I do next. I'm gonna watch to see what I did. What I do? Oh yeah, I went for the eyebrows. Yeah, for the eyebrows, I get a little bit of black and a little bit of brown and such. Yes, indeed. That's right. And I think, I think what I do is I think I start swinging into doing the hair. And I'm just like, wait, no, that's the next clip. That's the next clip. We got to slow down and such. But yeah, I do a little bit of the brown and the black because he's got some pretty dark eyebrows and such. And then, this is where I started the hair a little bit. I'm just like, wait, no, next clip. Here you go. It's time. It's hair for one of our favorite parts of Anime Paint Night. It's our hair. His hair is hard. His hair was definitely difficult. So to start out easy, I just decided to do the black portions of it. His hair is very unique. The character designs, again, top-notch stuff. Truly stuff. But it's just, it was definitely a little bit tricky. But to take your time with it, the first portion is the black. I can definitely feel like the shading. and everything, and I think it was a good way to kind of like have depth in the hair and everything. It's giving just a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonist, but because of how less crazy the hair is in regards to like the actual design and the flow of the hair, and the fact that the colors are more muted, it's not fully like Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonist type of vibe and such, but it's still very unique. Like you're gonna like know this absolutely. And matter of fact, in Demon Slayer again, one of the tropes that they do very well is they have hair that has multiple tints. Very much like some of them are gradients, but some of them are just like two clearly different colors. Like Nezuko, Mr. Tanjiro's sister and such, has like black long hair, but at the edges of the hair it's like red or orange and such. And matter of fact, if you look at the manga reference that I have on the reference sheet, his hair is like straight red. Like it's just bold red and everything. And that just might be the canonical color. But because I'm like, man, like the anime don't make it look red and such, so man, you're gonna look at me grab like the pink, the red, the brown, you know what I'm saying? Like a little bit of the eggshell maybe. And like I just try my best to like blend it in colors and everything. By the end of this, you're gonna see a bunch of different like variations between red, brown, and pink. But I like that. I like that a lot. That's the beauty of anime paint night. That's the beauty of creating your own artwork. You have the opportunity to pay homage. You have an opportunity. Do I also bring purple into the mix? Wow, I don't remember that. But genuinely speaking, though, you're able to pay homage without necessarily being like fully accurate to the source material. Because just because it's not necessarily accurate by like verbatim color and stuff, you can, or not even just color, but like even how you like draw something or what have you, you know who the character is because of the patterns that come with it. The color doesn't have to be strangely muted red, pink, brown, stuff like that, but it can have those elements of it in like in the working balance of the black. So like it's not really going to work very well if you choose blue, right? But if you choose in regards to like paying homage, but like if you choose like at least something along the lines of this, the color scheme that you kind of see in front of you, whether that be the manga reference sheet or the anime reference, you have the opportunity to like really express yourself. That, or you could just do what I didn't do and go on the official wiki and find the actual color of his hair, and then you'll be fine, But regardless, have fun with this. Have fun with this part. I always really like doing the hair part. It's one of the best ways to add expression. But after this, we only really have one other thing to do. And I think it's just going back over and adding a little bit of detail and some things to make it really pretty and such. But I thank you so much for being patient with my lack of Demon Slayer knowledge. And I'll see you with this next section right here. Alright, last but not least, we're just going to go and add a little bit of some details right here. So I'm going to darken up the eyebrows just a little bit with one more layer of like a little bit of the red and the brown and such. Then I was just like, oh, let me add some like blush a little bit. I was going to use red, but I decided to use the skin tone a little bit. Just instead of it being like direct blush, but just having a definition of where like the cheeks are. Since it's a darker color, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of that darker tones over by like the hair, the inside of the ear, places that light is a little bit obscured, underneath the chin where the neck is. Add some little bit of shading for where the hands are, just to make it have a little bit more depth. I'm going to do that for both hands. Definitely adding a little bit of shading near the knuckles, and also where the sleeve of the next one kind of hides everything. So then we're going to have a little bit of shading back up here, and I just wanted to make sure I blended that in just a little bit. The blending isn't perfect. Then again, nothing is. Nothing is perfect. Just give yourself an opportunity to, like, clean up some things or just add a little bit more depth with the brown there. Then after that, what do I do? Oh, yes. Last but not least, I wanted to do like a little callback to the fact that he has a mastery over water breathing by doing just a little bubble and then taking the red, the yellow, the orange, and making a little flame burst and such. But that's pretty much it, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this month's Anime Paint Night. And we will see you in February. And also, Happy New Year and such. Welcome to a new season of Anime Paint Night. So, look forward to seeing you for some other stuff. Alright, have a good one. You did a great job. Bye.